Hi, welcome back to Healthy Heather. I am making a quick, wholesome, it's not keto, you can make it keto though, um, supper. It's called hamburger stew. And we use 3 carrots, a pound of ground beef. If ground beef's too rich for your blood, I get it. You got to do probably like ground pork, ground turkey, 1 onion. I had a little bit of a red onion left in the fridge, so I cut that up too. And then 3 ribs of celery cut. I like them half moons, but you put them whatever way you like. And then usually I do frozen peas, but we have 1 thing of canned. It's not the best, but we got to use it up, so we're doing that. There's no garlic in this. I don't know if just the women in my family were kind of really picky about when they put garlic in something, but this dish is onion based, so you could put onion powder in for seasoning. But other than that, salt and pepper, and then bay leaves. And I just have a couple of these kind of round in half bay leaves left, so they're all going to go. And then you put, I don't know, about a cup and a half of water in. So I'm browning the ground beef really well. And I've got lean, so I'm not going to drain the fat. I'm going to use that fat to saute the vegetables. You'll stir this nice and brown and chopped up into little pieces first. So then all my veggies are cut. And those are the standard veggies. Usually we use frozen peas, like I said, and those don't go in until the end, so I'm not going to put these in until the end. And I have about an hour and a half before I want to eat, so I'm probably just going to let it simmer on the stove. And so I might actually add, and potatoes. Sorry, whoops. I have a mix of red and white potatoes because I had the total 5 potatoes in my fridge, 5 red ones, but 2 of them got all mushy, so I grabbed 3 of these kind too. And you cut these in kind of, my mom always cut them in bigger chunks, even like halves or quarters of potatoes, so that they didn't get mushy, because she didn't love mushy things. But you cut them however you like. But I'm going to let this simmer down on low with the lid and 2 cups of water for about an hour. Since I'm doing low carb, I can have the carrots and the potatoes and the onion. I'm not really sticking to keto at the moment. Just trying to eat things that are helping my digestion as I'm waiting for the meds to kick in for my reflux, heartburn, hiatal hernia situation. So I actually called the pharmacy because the 1 pill a day was not helping. I said, what can I do? Should I get some Pepto? He says, no, for 2 to 4 weeks max, you can bump up and have 2 pills. But what you have to do is you can't eat for an hour around the second pill. So I wait and do it at about 7 p.m. And the first night that I did that, it was like a miracle. I had a break for the first time in several months from the reflux. As you can hear my voice, I did have some reflux last night, and it's been on and off today, but I have had a couple days in between with breaks, so it's starting to work. And it's one of those things that has to take its time. So I'm trying to eat digestive friendly things and not large amounts and not heavily seasoned, spicy, acidic types of foods. So I'm not heavily greasy either. So this lean ground beef has got a few tablespoons of beef grease down at the bottom, but overall that's not going to be too much for me because I'm not going to have a huge serving of this. This is going to feed my family and me for supper tonight, and probably leftovers tomorrow. So I'm just putting it in my pot, and then I'm going to get the water, and then I'm going to put my salt and pepper and my bay leaves, spits. Just unceremoniously dumping. It's got to get some water. Yeah, so salt and pepper. I'll put while the water's filling up. And because there's potatoes, you could put like probably 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm just putting a dash of pepper because that my pepper seems insidious and it's spicy. So, and I don't want all of that. We're shifting the grease all around. And then I'm just going to put about this much water in. And then I'm going to let it come up to a boil like that. And I layer in the seasoning. So I did my first layer. And then what I'll do is, once the potatoes are all the way cooked, maybe taste and see, and then add some more salt. And I'll leave the pepper flavor in as is because I'll let other people put their own amount in. And I'm not, for this batch, going to put onion powder in there because that might set off my reflux. So I'm going to leave it kind of blunt. But it's not super blunt because those flavors of onion, carrots, and celery and potato, the bay leaf, that all does come through, and then the beef, it's all nice. So when you add the peas in, it's a nice meal. So it's nourishing, it's quick to put together. Really, at this point, if you wanted to eat supper right away and you didn't need to delay it for an hour and 20 minutes like I'm going to, then you could just simmer till potatoes are done because your ground beef's already cooked. So simmer it till the point that you have the potato, carrot, all the things to the doneness that you like, and then you could serve it. So if you're going to do that, though, I wouldn't put that much water in. Maybe do half a cup to a cup and stir. Just depends how much your veggies release, so you stick by it. When I'm really not doing keto, I'm doing a regular standard diet, I'll serve these with, for my family, I'll serve it with homemade biscuits. And I'll do like the rollout biscuits, and I might do a whole wheat meal stuff. You want some kibble, so I'll have to get them. I'll do like a whole wheat biscuit. So I'll do, usually my recipe for biscuits is, I think 2.5 cups of flour. So I'll do like 1 cup of whole wheat flour in there. And then it's a nice nutritious biscuit. The other things I do is I'll put, I think it's about 1/2 cup of butter. Could be, I have to eyeball 2, that's enough. I'm cutting 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I do about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then about 1 cup milk, maybe a little less. I'll start with less. And so before you put the milk, the liquid in, you're going to make the butter, like kind of use a fork, 2 forks, or a pastry cutter to cut the butter into the biscuit dough. And then you pour the milk until it comes together. And then I pat it out on a floured surface, roll it out, and then take your cups or whatever size biscuits you want, cutter, and do that. That's my recipe. And then I put them in a high temperature oven because it's kind of like a pastry, so like 425. And I might brush with an egg wash or some cream on the top and put it on parchment lined paper for about 15-20 minutes. So you gotta watch. And there you go. There's your biscuits to go with your stew. So yeah, that's my recipe, and I won't show you the finished product because I just wanted to get this recipe off for you and tell you how I'm doing, and I hope life is good with you. I'll put the recipe in the description for you too, for the biscuits and the hamburger stew. We call it hamburger stew. That's what we had growing up, and this is, I think, my mom's mom passed it down to her, and this is a common thing they had. I think German, Scottish ancestry just could have had ground lamb or something instead, and then my mom, this was a favorite dinner she made for us growing up when my dad wasn't home, because my dad was a butcher's son and he hated ground beef. He refused to eat ground beef unless he took steak to the butcher to grind it up and he watched it, because I think he was probably traumatized with whatever grandpa brought home that was ground beef and he didn't like it. So we always waited till he was on a business trip, and then we had all the ground beef we could handle. We'd had tacos, we'd have lasagna, we'd have spaghetti, hamburger stew, all the things. So hamburger helper, all the things. And then when he was back, we never ate hamburgers. That was my life growing up, and I never realized how different that was. But yeah, this is one of my mom's recipes, so sharing with you, putting it out here so my girls can look at my YouTube channel later on and find that recipe too. Okay, you take care. Bye.